I haven't watched a Real Housewives series in forever and ever. It's time. It's a lazy Sunday. Actually, it's Mother's Day. Breakfast has been made for me. Everybody's hanging out. And here I am finally turning the TV on for some me time. And I'm tackling this craziness here, which are the boxes for the fragrances that I want to sell on Mercari. Some of these are already posted, so I'm going to spend some time, oh my goodness, actually putting the fragrances in here. At the moment, most of the fragrances are inside of that armoire there, waiting for someone to purchase them so that I can send those off. But it's time to put those in boxes so that they're really easy to grab and mail off when somebody does purchase them. So yesterday was really interesting. I'm really working on trying to do one or two things well on the weekends, on the days. I mean, listen, in my mind, I want to just sit around and do nothing on the weekends, but I don't know, you guys. I have this like super strange work ethic thing. I don't know if it's my family. I don't know if it's like a Caribbean heritage thing. I don't know. My parents are super hard workers, so that's likely where I get that mentality from. Like there's no rest. Like on the weekend you get up at 7 a.m. in the morning and you start to blast music and you start to clean the house and cook and you're constantly moving. And this is something that I am struggling with. I value it. That's the thing. Like in my heart of hearts, I believe in the value of hard work. I believe in the value of getting things done and being productive in some way every day. But I am also trying to just chill out and relax a little bit more every day than usual because I will like drive myself into the ground, trying to get work and something done all the way through to the evening hours and maybe just give myself an hour or something on the couch, with hubby, watching TV before and editing. Even then, I'm like editing videos. So it's like work, you know? I'm never just sort of sitting still, although I understand the value of that too. So those are like dueling banjos, Is that the dueling banjos? Is that the name of the song? No, that can't be it. Is that right? What movie is it that's Shawshank Redemption? Is that the movie? Anyway, I'm off on a tangent. But the dueling things, the hard work ethic, making sure that you're being productive every day in the best way that you know how, and actually just chilling out and enjoying your life. Like those two things compete for me. So anyway, yesterday, Sunday, I managed to just focus on one thing. Actually, I did two things. I did two. But I didn't do makeup. I didn't do anything. It was Mother's Day, so everybody cooked for me and cleaned for me. But I did do laundry because laundry needed to get done. So I did like 3 loads of laundry. And the other thing that I did that took forever, was I posted fragrances on Mercari that I no longer want or am not reaching for, or for whatever reason we've had our time and it's time for those to be passed along. So I posted, get this, a total of 58. Is that right? 58 postings, 58 bottles of fragrance. And I still have about that many to go to post. So yes, I know that if you're not a fragrance collector, that sounds absolutely insane. I get it. I'm not even going to argue with you. Yeah, it's crazy. But that's what it was. Now, you guys, that took me from I got started around noonish, maybe 12:30 or so, and it took me through dinner time, like that full amount of time to post all of those fragrances. And these are simple listings. Like I don't do complicated listings because I really feel people should go research on their own rather than me telling them, oh, this smells like blah, 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 blah. When it comes to purchasing, it's time for people to go, like y'all need to go look on Fragrantica or whatever and check it out yourself rather than taking my word for it since you're spending your money on it. So anyway, the listings are simple. It'll just be like, barely used, comes with box or doesn't come with box. See the fill line in the pictures. That's kind of all I put in the postings and it keeps it simple. But y'all, almost 5 hours posting. The other thing I did, hang on, let me go get my powder and bronzer so we can keep going. Real quick, this is the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation in the color Santa Fe M2, medium 2. And I don't know how I feel about it. It's maybe like I want it to be a little tiny bit more golden in color, but it's all right. I do like the way that it sits on the skin, and I'm gonna just do the Sephora powder, micro smooth multitasking baked face powder for like a little bit of powder around the edges. But the other thing that I did yesterday, and I was really proud of myself, only because I have not done this in a long time, and that is I have a subscription to Peacock. You know, we don't do cable anymore, so we just do like the subscription services where you can order specific kinds of shows or play specific kinds of shows and movies sort of on demand. So I have Peacock, and the reason that I got Peacock, don't laugh at me and don't judge me, is because I really have a thing for the Real Housewives shows. Yeah, on Bravo, Real Housewives. In this case, it was of New Jersey that I was catching up on. So I watched like the first 5 episodes of the latest season. You know, it's just so dramatic and so dumb and so trashy, and like an escape, a total escape into like this ridiculous world where women fight over just the dumbest things. Like with friends like that, who needs enemies, right? I don't understand how these women call themselves friends, but it's all, you know, somewhat fabricated for the show. It's not that the situations don't really happen. It's that they're incredibly sort of exacerbated, if you will, made worse by the production teams of these shows that sort of plant situations for people to react to. And of course, because folks are on screen, they're showing out. They're showing their butts, you know, and just acting stupid. But there's something soothing, I know that sounds weird, about having that in the background just as, oops, natural hairs. One thing about using natural hair brushes, look at this, is every once in a while hairs will be released from the brush and show up on your face. Well, that happens with synthetic brushes too. Anywho, there's something soothing about having that stuff on in the background as I'm doing other things in the house. So I don't know, it's like watching, you know, trash TV. It's like gossipy and fun, and it doesn't involve me. And so it's just sort of fun to watch these relationships implode on television and then get right back together the next day. Because like on yesterday's series, you know, there were friendship breakups and makeups just the next day, and all of a sudden they're best friends again. And it's so dumb. It's so dumb that it's entertaining. How do you feel about that? Are you like, no, that's, you know, doing women wrong to have them arguing on TV? Or are you like, whatever, bring on the entertainment? I'm kind of in the latter category. They sign up for it, they get paid. Some of them get paid really decent money per episode to participate. And it's just kind of like background entertainment trash. You know, it's like daytime drama, except it's somebody's real life, kind of, sort of. It's not totally real because, like I said, it's for cameras. So the point that I'm making is it was nice to get that one big chunk of listings done. It took me a full 5 hours. I had this fantasy of going to eat dinner and coming back and finishing the other listings, but that just did not happen. And so I gave myself the grace and the space to just sit on the couch with hubby. He was kind enough to rub my feet. Love the man for that. Oh my God. Y'all. That's golden. That's golden, because I was on my feet doing the postings on Mercari. So my feet were really like sore on the bottoms because I'm old and I'm out of shape, y'all. So anyway, it was really nice to do that. And then, so I didn't get anything else done. And then I went to sleep. I had a great night's sleep. And here we are on Monday. I'm getting ready for a pretty exciting day at work. I've got some meetings that I'm going to lead, one in the afternoon that I'm going to facilitate with a really fantastic team. So I'm looking forward to that and have to prep this morning. So let me finish this makeup. So here's the makeup look I'm going to go with. I like it. It's just a nice sort of pinky, muted color. What am I talking about? I have a lot of nerve doing a channel like this. Like, I know how to describe makeup. It's pink, and there's a little bit of sort of gray. Yeah, muted. It's okay to say muted, Veronica. Anyhow, here, this is the look. And I did it with Tartelette Full Bloom from Tarte. This is a palette that I've thought about decluttering a couple of times. It's not my favorite formula, but it's a fine formula and it lasts. And what I do like about the palette is that it is another one of these sort of neutral lover dream palettes. So it's not the one that I would choose on a night where I really cared about my makeup, for example, or for an event. where I wanted my makeup to be front and center. But for sort of everyday office-y looks, meetings online, this is perfectly fine and a great one for vacation if you just want the all-in-one palette to take. The shimmer formulas are a little bit on the drier side. I like a little bit of a wetter shimmer formula sometimes, or at least a more impactful shimmer formula. So this color right here is what's in the inner corner of the eye, and I just find it to be a little bit lackluster, but that's all right. And I ended up having to use a highlighter for inner corner separate from the palette because there's not really a bright color in here. But this is okay, and it does well, but it's not my favorite. It's huge, so this is one that, you know, if you're taking it traveling, it'd have to be one of those car trips, not like, you don't want to stick this in your suitcase because it's massive. And my lipstick color is Spanish Pink from Tom Ford. This is a beautiful, really bright pink. The lip liner I'm not so crazy about. I've had this for years and it finally is done. It's from the Rimmel Exaggerate line and it's the color 18 Addiction. And it's done. Like, I need to go ahead and put it in the done bin, but it's almost like a purpley pinky color. And I prefer a more sort of brown toned color as lip liner, even if I'm going with a neutral pink look. So here's the look. I'm gonna zhuzh up my hair and go on about my day. And then I really want to talk about friendships. I've been thinking about that a lot lately, especially as I'm about to have an evening, like a girls' night, in a couple of weeks here in Northern Virginia. We're going to go to wine country and hang out with two girlfriends that I've known since high school. They're like my sisters from other misters. I love them to bits. And I've been thinking a lot about friendships in my life and which ones have endured, which ones have gone by the wayside. I wanted to chat with you a little bit about that. So let's get into that next. Okay, so I'm leaving the mall. I went to pick up my skinny syrups, which I love. I feel like I can't live without them. Maybe it's an addiction. It's my way to get like the sensation of a sugar fix without actually ingesting sugar. So today was an interesting day. As you can see, I have zero makeup on. I did wash and blow dry my hair, but I did not curl it. I was rushing this morning because my son and I both had an orthodontist checkup for our Invisalign. These are doing really well. He's got a lot more movement that he needs to make in his teeth. His program is 2 years. Mine is 1 year. And so I finished 3 sets of aligner trays, the introductory trays for Invisalign. By the way, if you have no idea what Invisalign is or what I'm talking about, it's like clear braces for your teeth. They come in trays. And it's like wearing braces, except it's clear plastic instead. Okay, so his program is 2 years, mine is 1. And today was a longer appointment because they had to put on these plastic nodes. I think they're made out of plastic. I can't imagine what else they're made out of, like a really hard plastic that comes in a gooey form. They put it in certain places on your teeth, and the aligners are shaped to sit on top of those nodes. So the first 3 trays don't have the nodes, and then the trays 4 and beyond do have the little nodes. Think of them almost as like hooks that your aligners kind of like grip onto on your teeth. If you've seen people with Invisalign, you know what I mean. Anyway, because I don't need a lot of adjustment to my teeth, I was seriously thinking that I would have minimal aligners. Like, I thought I would get, oh my God, I thought I would get out of there with like maybe a couple of nodes on the side that were barely noticeable. Much to my shock and surprise, I have probably 7 to 8 nodes on the top set of my teeth. I don't have the aligners in right now because, long story, but I don't have them in right now. And there were 6 nodes on the bottom. And when I tell you that I was shocked at where they were placed and even more shocked at what they look like, I don't know how else to put that into words. And I ended up texting my husband and saying, like, steel yourself, S-T-E-E-L, steel yourself. These nodes are absolutely hideous. You know, because like any good husband, one of the things he really loves about me is my smile, and he's shocked that I'm even doing the Invisalign and wondering why am I bothering with it. And for me, it's because I'm vain and I want my teeth to be even better looking. Like, I'm just gonna admit that. I'll own that, you know. It's silly. I probably could live my life perfectly fine without my teeth ever being, you know, better aligned, but that's what I decided to do. So let me show y'all what I'm talking about. Y'all ready? Okay. Can you see? Look at this. See? You see how that's sticking out? And there's another one over here. And then you can't really see the ones that are in here. They're a little shorter. And these two? What in the Fang Nation is that? There's a few over here because they're fixing a crossbite on this side of my mouth, and a few on the bottom. The bottom ones don't bother me at all. It's these two that are sitting on the canines. How am I supposed to record videos, particularly for the other channel where I'm smiling and joking about fragrances with all of this going on? So I'm gonna have to live with it. I committed to it. We're about 2 months in, so I probably have got 10 to something more months. 10 months minimum, maybe a little bit more, depending on how the treatment plan goes. So I just got to live with it. I do not like these things. I think they are gross looking. They bug me. I don't like the way that they feel. My son dealt with his so much better. He got his nodes put on a few weeks before me. But his, even though he needs like significant like jawline adjustment and all of that, his nodes are a lot less noticeable. Look at this. How do I talk to people with this? Oh my God. So yeah, y'all pray for me that I don't lose my mind with these stupid things in my teeth. Oh, and then when you put the actual trays on, it looks like I call them plastic boogers. I have plastic boogers, it looks like, hanging off of the corners of my teeth. You'll see in the upcoming videos. But so bear with me, you guys. I am fairly certain you don't care, but I'm sure there's a few of y'all out there that are like, what happened to you? What happened, Veronica? So what I had really intended to talk about in this little segment was friendship. I'm talking about aligners and plastic boogers on your teeth and whatnot. In fact, they look like plastic boobs hanging off of the canines of my teeth. So you and I, my audience and I, will have some good laughs about that in the coming year. Friendship. So in the coming weekend or two, not this weekend, but the weekend after, I was supposed to get together with 2 of my high school girlfriends, and that's what made me think about this friendship thing. So maybe I'll start the conversation and continue it in another video. But it got me to thinking, why am I so willing to leave the comfort of my home to spend an evening with these ladies? Like, we would have to rent a hotel room. We were going to go to like wine country in Virginia. So what about them is so interesting that I'm willing to leave my home? And I started to think then, well, what is it that binds people together, that creates strong friendship bonds that last and survive the tests of time? Because as we know, listen, if you're anywhere near my age group or beyond, you've been tossed around by the waves of life. You know, the ocean of life has had its way with you, I'm sure. And you've probably got war stories to tell and more stories counting and mounting, you know, about all of the ways that life has dealt you interesting twists and turns that you've had to deal with. So how do friendships survive those? I'm a big believer that people are in your life for a reason, season, lifetime. Like that whole philosophy of people and how and why they appear, for sure. And I've learned to sort of flow with that. You know, if people are in your life for a reason, let that reason play out. Maybe you're in someone else's life for a reason. Let it play out and be on your way. Same thing with a season. You know, it's a skill, a life skill to know when a season of friendship is coming to an end. Sometimes that happens abruptly. Sometimes it happens gradually or more gently. But it's okay. It's okay for friends to come in and out of life. But then there are those lifetime friends. And what makes a lifetime friends? Like, what's the anatomy of a lifetime friendship? Or what are the characteristics of a lifetime friend that draws you together and binds you? I would imagine that the answer to that question is different from person to person, you know, based on who you are and what you value in this life. But when I think about my lifetime friendships, there are, I would say, lifetime acquaintances from elementary and middle school. I wouldn't say we're lifetime like friends, because I don't keep in close contact. We don't have, well, that's not true, excuse me. I have at least a lifelong friend from middle school or 2, although I'm not in as close contact with them as others. So the people, though, that I really consider like those lifelong friends, I have a few from high school, 2 in particular that I have been in the closest contact with, and then others that I think are like in the friendship group, but maybe are not as close as these 2. And when I think about that, I think about those two being, like I said before, like my sisters from other misters. And the other people are maybe like cousins. You know, if these two are sisters, then the others are like cousins in the group. You don't spend as much time with them. You don't see them as often. But these two, I would say, you know, we've done like trips together on an annual basis where we go somewhere together. We haven't done it as much here in this COVID time, but we're going to do it again in another couple of weeks. It has fallen through at this point, but that's okay. The point is, like, what is so special? And I also have some folks from college, and then two ladies that I keep in contact with very closely from my teaching days, and then a smaller group of friends in my adulthood from my recent positions. And then the folks that I work with, which I consider like a work family. But in terms of like those deep friendships, or maybe like six people from different periods of my life. And what makes them lifelong friends is that thing, like you can call each other out of the blue, out of nowhere. And it's like you pick up right where you left off, that whole thing that you hear people talk about. I think that's so true. And I'm like, so what makes that the case? Why is it? You've gone through things with these folks. You've experienced life, and it could be joys of life, it could be hardships, or both, that you've gone through with these folks that bind you together, where, you know, you have some of their secrets, they have some of yours. They're like your Thelma and Louise types. And you know, you can trust them. I talked a number of videos back about knowing you can trust someone when you are sure that your name is safe in their mouth, right? Meaning what? That they always have your best interest at heart, that they are never doing things behind your back, so to speak, that harm you, put you at risk, ruin your reputation in any way, cast aspersions about you to others, but that they're always rooting for you and advocating for you. Doesn't mean they have to spend every minute of their life figuring out how to make your life a success, but it does mean that they root for you, sometimes from the sidelines, and that's fine too. Right? But they have your best interest at heart. They mean well for you, and they wish well for you, always. There's the bond of experiences, as I mentioned, and there's the sharing of values. And you don't have to have the exact same aligned values about everything. How boring would that be? If all of your friends and family and whoever felt about life decisions and choices and life rules exactly as you did. What's the joy in that? How do you learn from people if you think the exact same way as others? But that you have some basic core values that align. You believe in being kind to people. That's important to me. You know, demonstrating kindness to fellow humanity, being generous to the extent that you can, being humble. Those three things are always super important to me. And then there's this other element of like, or characteristic rather, of having fun, enjoying yourself. When I think about my friendships, one of the things we have in common is like this mutual sense of goofy humor, where we can have fun doing virtually anything, anywhere. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We can joke around, we can have fun, we can find the joy in anything. I think that's so important. And I gravitate toward people like that versus people who are highly critical, always looking for the downside, always looking for how something is going wrong or needs to be fixed, and being critical. That gets really old and tiresome. You know, life is short, and I much prefer people who keep it light and bright. Life will bring you the darker, heavier moments, for sure. Let's not create more on our own than need to be there. So along those lines, I don't like a whole lot of drama. And I don't like people that create drama, that are dramatic, that look for drama in others, that are constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop, you know, that sort of mentality, that are like oriented toward the negative. I can't do that. I need to be looking for silver linings. I need to be looking for joy. I need to be thinking about ways to enjoy every day. So I gravitate toward people like that. So I'd love to hear from you. What do you look for in your friendships? I would also like to say I don't have to see my friends every day. I don't have to talk to my friends every day. In fact, I prefer not to. I get tired of people. I do. It's nice to connect every once in a while, like with these ladies that I'm talking about. You know, there might be periods where we do talk often and we do text a lot, and there might be months that go by that we don't talk at all.
simply because we got busy and ended up ripping and running in different directions for a while, but we always are like tethered to each other by that common bond, so much so that we can pick up the phone and call each other whenever and just pick up where we left off, like if no time had passed between us. Interesting how we can sort of defy the laws of time and space and physics and all of that in those connections. So would love to hear from you about what you value in your friendships. And do you have some lifelong friends that, even if it's just one, somebody that's been there for you, somebody that's seen you go through it, and someone in whom you can confide and enjoy the day-to-day of life? That's it. That's all I have. I'm going to sign off with my nodes on my teeth that are driving me crazy. And I'll see you all in the next one.